Alright, so I'm showing you this because the guys at the brake shop really had a hard time finding the right brakes for me. The first time they sent me home with brakes, they gave me the wrong ones, and I had to bring them back, and I ended up on these, and these definitely aren't right. But I just want to show you this part number so you can look it up on the internet or whatever. Yeah. Alright, so here's the part that was facing out. I'm going to stick that part down, and then actually I'm going to take a wire brush and just kind of clean this up a little bit. Just get some of that old rust out of there.
You want me to film?
That's fine. Okay. So now I'm going to just line this up like this. And stick my lugs back in. That's all there is to it. I'm going to give them a little shot of WD first. Just to kind of, so they kind of seat in there better. So what'll happen is these guys will go in there, and you can see this little spline on there, and there's a spline here that lines up. You can kind of feel it. You know, you kind of move it micro and then you push it in. However, it's not gonna, no matter what you do, it's not gonna fully seat in there. So we have to do a process where we kind of we seat these guys, and I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so I'm just giving these a little tap. Just kind of snug them in there. I'm gonna flip this thing over. I don't want them falling out. All right. Oh, nasty. Now we're going to put the lug nuts back on, but I'm going to put them on upside down. So if you take a look at this lug nut, it's got like a little thing on one side that's to seat into the wheel, and the other side is totally flat. I'm going to put them on upside down. You don't need to film that. Alright, so now we got to make sure that these guys are seated in there. Otherwise, if there's any play, you're going down the road and you hit the brakes, it can shear off these things, and it'll be really bad. So I got this is a cheapo impact wrench from Harbor Freight. Cost me 50 bucks. Now you don't have to do this. You can take it to any garage, and they'll just bring this assembly to the garage and they'll do this for you. I went and got this because I'm desperate. It's Sunday and I got to get this done today. So, but then it'd be kind of cool to have this, so I just figured, what the heck. Anyway, so basically I got you know, like I said before, these are the lug nuts, but they're on upside down. You have to put them on upside down. And again, this is a 1-inch socket, deep well socket. A little hard on the ears. All right, so what I'm going to do is go through here and go like opposite, you know, here, and then I'll do one here, and I'll go opposite, and I'll keep doing that so it doesn't, it's just what you do. And that's all for now. After doing that, you can see these things are totally seated in there. There's no little lip or anything. They're all tight. It's awesome. Before we had them like various levels of sticking up on this side, so they're really in there. That's it. So here's a new caliper. And, you know, it's pretty cool. Pretty nice, all clean and everything. This is the old one. So I will admit that part of the reason why I bought new calipers is I could not move this on the other one. And I thought I could move it in and out. And later I've learned that you cannot pull these pistons out like you can with a car. You can move it back and forth, but so the test to see if this caliper is shot or not is to use something like this to see if you can squeeze it in. You can do this or a C-clamp. I just happen to have this. And so let's see if I actually needed to replace this. If I can squeeze this in, looks like fluid's gonna come out when I do this. I kind of need it to. Let's do this. All right. Okay, so I'm trying to pull this caliper in, and it's not going. The other side did. So I think I did right by replacing the calipers. This guy is not going. Now the other thing is this side was totally worn down. The shoes were completely worn, and on the other side they weren't. So I'm thinking this caliper was seized. Because look at, I can't move it. And I definitely could on the other side. So again, you know, these things are only 45 bucks or so. So I would say just replace them. Don't mess around with it. Alright, now I just throw this right back on. And then we build it back the way we took it apart. Recording. Okay. So our thing goes on there first, and this guy.
Gotta talk about it.
So it's a little hard to get this thread going. I found on the other side. You just gotta sort of play with it until you feel it go. Yeah, see. There it goes. I felt it. Now it's real easy. Let's do this. You can only do it to a certain point. But you can pause it. Alright, so this is tricky because you got bearings in here and you can't tighten it too much, otherwise you put friction on the bearings and it'll burn up your bearings. But you make sure you got to have enough, otherwise there'll be slop in there. And you can feel it when you push on this that it's still sloppy, so then you keep tightening this until that goes away. And so I just take the screwdriver and kind of gently tap, you know, maybe a half turn, and then I still feel it. Keep tapping. Okay, I don't feel any play anymore, and this thing spins really nice. And that's a sweet spot you want. No play, but yet still spinning real easily. And now alright, this has got me troubled. I don't know why this is bent like that. And it was like this on the other side too. I'm just going to move it back with the needle nose, but it does bother me. I don't know if anyone knows why that would be bent. Let me know. But I'm just going to kind of straighten it out a little bit and then put it back together. Same thing. The little splines are sticking out. And get this guy on the top of that. So I'm not worried about grease in here because this whole thing is lubricated via the oil in the differentials. So I guess I don't have to worry about that. So then I just snug this in there and we're good. I put a fair amount of pressure on this. This is pretty snug. It's not as hard as I could, but I got it kind of snug. And then I check, it's still flowing smoothly, so I'm good with it. And, you know, there's no play or anything, so I think we're good. I admit that I'm not an expert at this. You know, I've done it on a couple other vehicles, but so get what you pay for. I am a rank amateur, just a guy that's brave and does his own work. So take it with a grain of salt. But I think I feel fairly confident on this, that this is gonna be okay. Yeah. So here's a new caliper. And, you know, it's pretty cool, pretty nice, all clean and everything. This is the old one. So I will admit that part of the reason why I bought new calipers is I could not move this on the other one. And I thought I could move it in and out. And later I've learned that you cannot pull these pistons out like you can with a car. You can move it back and forth, but so the test to see if this caliper is shot or not is to use something like this to see if you can squeeze it in. You can do this or a C-clamp. I just happen to have this. And so let's see if I actually needed to replace this. See if I can squeeze this in. Looks like fluid's gonna come out when I do this. I kind of need it to. Let's do this. All right. Okay, so I'm trying to pull this caliper in, and it's not going. The other side did. So I think I did right by replacing the calipers. This guy is not going. Now the other thing is this side was totally worn down. The shoes were completely worn, and on the other side they weren't. So I'm thinking this caliper was seized. Because look at, I can't move it. And I definitely could on the other side. So again, you know, these things are only $45 or so. So I would say just replace them. Don't mess around with it. Alright, so there's these grooves here where the caliper kind of moves side to side as it wears. So we got to put this grease in there. But also back here on this bracket is where the other side of that is, that this is going to ride on. And we got to have that nice and clean. So I'm going to clean these two sides where they're going to ride against each other. Okay.
You stop.
Here, you can see this here if you want to keep it going. So I'm going to throw a little grease in here, just so this can slide easily in the future. I don't know how much good this does, because over time it's all pretty rusted by the time you take it all apart, but they want you to do it. All right, so we got to put these calipers in, or not calipers, brake shoes. Okay, and one side just fits in here. I kind of forget how they go, but I think, yep, just like that on this side. And then this side, we actually put it in onto the bracket, because there's nothing there. So you come over here and take a look at this. You recording? Down in here, there's a groove. There's another one up in here, and you just see that the brake shoe has this outside curve that lines up with the rotor, and you just kind of slide that in there and it just sits for you. And that's that. So we got the brake shoes in on both sides, and then we got to get the caliper on here and get that shim back in, and that's kind of a challenge, but I'll do my. All right, so now I'm kind of holding this brake shoe in here. I'm just going to slide this on here, and then kind of, you can see where it goes up like that, kind of in there. So we're slopping here right now, but then we're going to pound that shim back in. Yeah, this thing's all rusty too, so I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit. But basically, this slides in there, and it kind of is a wedge that keeps this thing going. Now they give you a little spring clip, comes with the caliper that goes in here. It took me a while to figure this out, but this thing goes on top like that. And then I'm going to go from the inside out. So I'm going to stick this in. I'm going to try to pound this in to wedge this so that this caliper is solid. Alright, see, so I got this thing on here, the spring clip. I got the holes to the outside, and I'm just trying to wedge this thing in here. I lift up the caliper a little bit, try to get it started. This is really a bugger, and I might start swearing soon. So. Yeah, I'm not getting it. Pause it. Yeah, I need to get around this corner here, but I put a little grease underneath here just to help things move along. And I put this like this, and then over here, I just lift this up and try to get that under there and get it started. It's really a bugger, and you're gonna swear. Okay, and then beat that thing into place. There it goes. Okay, so it's in place, and you got to put that screw in there, and that's it. So you got your 1/4 inch hex wrench, and your new screw just goes right in there like that to hold your shim in place. Not too bad. Nice and snug. This is all good. Are we still turning? Yeah. turning. And then note that your bleeder's right there up on the top. And then we just take this here. We got our 2 washers under there. Yes, so. And then you put this bolt back in to get the brake line in. It's up on top here if you want to shine up here. It's a little bit hard to see. Where's the flashlight? There, you can see that. You just tighten this down and you're good. Ready to bleed them. Alright, so we're putting our axle back in. Ooh. Look at this nut. Alright. So,
What is that?
try to keep the weeds out. You sort of have to play with it and kind of lift the back end. Good.
Nice looking Airstream.
Thank you.
What year is this?
Alright, so then when you get the axle in here, you just kind of line it up the best you can and turn this until you can get it to snap in. And that's all there is to that. All you got to do is put that cap back on and you're done. Alright, and we just put the cap back on here. And it's weird to me that really there's nothing else holding this on, but I guess that's all that's needed. Alright, just make sure you get the little lock washers on there. Yeah, I don't want this coming off. This is ½ inch.
Go.
Alright, so there's a bleeder valve here and we bled the brakes all around. Not really part of this video. There's tons of videos on how to bleed brakes. And if you're not changing your calipers, you won't need to do it anyway. I also recently changed the master cylinder on this thing. So I had to bleed them all the way around anyway, but this video is about how to just change the brakes back here, so it's sort of out of scope. Now we're just putting this wheel back on, and the only thing you really got to worry about, like I said before, you put this wheel on first and it has this valve extender so that you can monitor the air pressure here. You just got to line up these holes from this wheel to the second wheel. And that's the only thing you really got to worry about. So I got the holes lined up. I'm going to get this little guy in here. And then push it on. Just like that. That's how you do it. Get your lug nuts on here and you're done. Oh no, wait. You gotta put all that chrome stuff on first, so hold off. So you put this chrome piece on, you want to line that up too with those holes. And then put this plate on like that. Then you put this on, you line it up here with that. And then you start putting your lugs on. Alright, so we lost a bunch of oil from this differential. And there's a little plug here in back. This a 3/4 inch socket fits on there perfectly. So we got to pull that plug out and fill this back up with oil. I got this stuff here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show it later, I guess. But I'm sort of under here now. But I got this gear oil. I'm going to stick in there, make sure it's full, because that's what lubricates the bearings. So you'd be in a lot of trouble if that got low. Okay.